So imagine signing the lease on a perfect furnished apartment in an ideal location. This is your fresh start, a new chapter. The landlord hands you the keys, unlocking your future. The moving truck pulls away, leaving you in your new living room. This is it. Home. A perfect canvas waiting for you to paint your life onto it. And there, in the center of the room, sits the bed, unaware of the secrets hiding just beneath the surface. This is the story of a bed and what can lurk in the most ordinary of places. It's about how a dream apartment can curdle into a living nightmare. Do you ever really know the history of the place you sleep? The first few days are a blur of activity. You unpack boxes, arrange furniture, and start to settle into a routine. The apartment begins to feel less like a stranger's house and more like your own. You hang pictures on the walls, you stock the fridge with your favorite foods, and you learn the quirks of the old building. The way the floorboards creak in the hallway, the low hum of the refrigerator at night. It's all part of the charm, the process of making a space truly yours. You feel a sense of accomplishment of building a life from the ground up, one unpacked box at a time. But as the initial excitement of moving in begins to fade, you start to notice things, small things. At first, you blame it on the stress of the move, on your mind playing tricks on you in an unfamiliar environment. There's a persistent faint odor in the bedroom. It's a strange, coppery, slightly sweet smell that seems to cling to the air, no matter how long you leave the window open. You buy air fresheners, you light scented candles, but the smell always returns. A subtle but constant guest in your most private space. It's a minor annoyance, you tell yourself, something that will surely fade with time. Then comes the first morning. You wake up feeling groggy, the sunlight just beginning to peek through the blinds. As you stretch and roll over, your eyes catch a small, faint discoloration on the crisp white sheets you just put on the bed the night before. It's a pale, reddish-brown stain, no bigger than a coin. You touch it and it feels dry, almost powdery. You dismiss it immediately. Maybe you scratched yourself in your sleep, or perhaps it was a nosebleed so minor you didn't even notice it. It's a logical explanation, a simple answer that puts your mind at ease. You strip the bed and throw the sheets into the laundry without a second thought. Life is busy, and there are more important things to worry about than a tiny, insignificant stain. You have a job to get to, a new neighborhood to explore, a life to live. The bed is just a bed. The smell is just an old apartment smell. The stain was just an accident. You push the unsettling feelings down, convinced that you are just being paranoid. You make the bed with a fresh set of sheets, smoothing out the wrinkles, creating a perfect, clean surface, ready for another night's sleep. A few days pass and the incident with the stained sheet is all but forgotten. Your routine solidifies. You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you sleep. The apartment is your haven, a quiet retreat from the noise of the outside world. The strange coppery smell in the bedroom is still there, a faint undercurrent you've almost gotten used to. It's become just another one of the apartment's quirks, like the dripping faucet you keep meaning to report. You've convinced yourself that it's probably just the old wood of the bed frame or something trapped in the ancient radiator. Nothing to worry about. Then it happens again. You wake up one morning and there it is. Another stain. This one is in a slightly different spot, but it's the same pale reddish brown color, the same size, the same dry faded appearance. This time a small knot of unease tightens in your stomach. A coincidence? Maybe. But 2 accidents in less than a week feels less like a coincidence and more like a pattern. You carefully check yourself for any cuts or scratches, but find nothing. You check your pillows, your pajamas, everything. There is no logical source for the stain. The smell in the room suddenly seems stronger, more pronounced. It's no longer just a background scent. It feels like it's emanating directly from the source of your growing anxiety, the bed itself. You lean in close to the mattress, taking a hesitant sniff. The smell is definitely coming from here. It's a heavy, organic scent, the smell of something old and decaying, masked by the faint aroma of fabric cleaner. Your mind races, trying to find a rational explanation. Maybe the previous tenant spilled something. Maybe the mattress is just old and needs a deep cleaning. Driven by a mix of curiosity and dread, you decide to investigate further. Simple stains are one thing, but this persistent, unpleasant odor is another. You pull back the sheets, then the mattress protector. Everything looks clean on the surface, but the smell remains. You grab the edge of the heavy mattress, your muscles straining as you begin to lift it, intending to air it out or perhaps see if something has spilled underneath. As you heave the mattress up, tilting it against the wall, your eyes fall upon the wooden slats of the bed frame below. And that's when you see it. Something that makes the blood in your veins run cold. The first night in a new place is always strange. You lie awake, listening, you close your eyes, ready to finally drift off. But as you inhale, you catch it, a scent you hadn't noticed, a faint metallic tang, almost like old pennies, mixed with something vaguely sweet. You sit up, sniffing the air. Where is it coming from? It's a strange, unsettling perfume for a bedroom. You lie back down, determined to get some sleep. Sleep doesn't come easily. Every time you start to relax, the smell seems to pull you back. The bed now feels alien and vaguely threatening. Your first night is spent in restless semi-wakefulness, haunted by an invisible, odorous ghost. Finally, exhaustion wins. The memory of the smell lingers, a subtle but distinct warning. You wake up feeling more tired than when you went to bed. The bed was supposed to be a sanctuary, but it feels like you've spent the night sleeping in a stranger's secret. The morning light chases away the anxieties of the night. The strange smell is fainter now, easily dismissed. You stretch, ready to wash away the unease with a hot shower and coffee. But then your gaze lands on the sheet. There's a small, reddish-brown stain. Not bright red, but a faded, rusty color. A nosebleed, a scratch. You check yourself over, but there's nothing. The mystery deepens. It appeared overnight while you slept. The smell from the night before comes rushing back. More sinister now. Determined to erase the evidence, you strip the bed immediately. You toss it in the washing machine, adding extra detergent. You make the bed with fresh sheets, trying to restore a sense of normalcy. But you can't shake the feeling that you are just covering something up. A couple of days go by. Life gets in the way. You get busy with work and exploring your new neighborhood. The incident with the stain gets pushed to the back of your mind. You convince yourself that you overreacted. Every old apartment has its quirks, right? A weird smell, a mysterious stain. It's all part of the experience. but the house doesn't let you forget for long. One morning, you wake up with a familiar sense of dread. Another stain. It's on the fresh sheet you put on just a few days ago. This one is slightly larger, a bit darker, but it's the same faded reddish-brown color. There is no denying it now. This is a pattern. What is happening in this bed when you are asleep? The coppery smell now seems overpowering. It's undeniably coming from the mattress. The bed is no longer a piece of furniture. It's the source of a creeping horror. With a surge of determination, you tear the sheets off the bed. You have to see what's on the other side. With the sheets cast aside, you stand before the naked mattress. It looks ordinary, but the smell is impossible to ignore. It's a thick, cloying miasma that seems to radiate from the very fibers of the mattress. Your hands hover over the mattress, hesitant, but you need to know. Taking a deep breath, you grab the edge of the mattress. As you hoist one side of the mattress up, you prop it against the headboard. The underside looks much the same as the top, but then your eyes adjust to the dim light beneath the propped up mattress, and you look down at the wooden slats that support it. Scratched deep into the dark wood of the bed frame are markings. They are deliberate, intentional, and utterly terrifying. Your search has led you to something infinitely more disturbing. You stare frozen tally marks carved into the wood, grouped in sets of 5, not marking days, rows of chilling groups under where a person's torso would lie. Who? What were they counting? The coppery smell makes a terrifying kind of sense. It's the smell of old blood. Stains left by something that happened on this frame. This bed was a ledger. Each mark represented what? A wave of nausea washes over you. You've been sleeping here oblivious. The bed feels like a tombstone. The apartment feels like a crime scene. You have to get out, you have to count them. With morbid curiosity, you begin to count the tally marks carved into the bed frame. 1, 2, 3. The sheer quantity is staggering, stretching across the frame. As you count, the reality sinks in. Was it a perpetrator or a victim? A chaotic, desperate record. 40, 50... The final number hangs heavy. 62. 62 marks carved into your bed frame. You can't unsee this. The bed is a monument to secrets, and you are now their unwilling keeper. The sound is final. Covering the tally marks doesn't make them go away. You know they're still there, a hidden layer of horror. You can't possibly sleep here tonight. The entire apartment now feels contaminated. You spend the rest of the day in a daze. The sun begins to set. The approaching night fills you with a primal fear, but you don't leave. A strange, stubborn curiosity roots you to the spot. What if the tally marks aren't from the past? This thought is what ultimately seals your decision. You have to stay. You're going to stay up. You're going to watch the bed. Your eyes fixed on the dark doorway of the bedroom. You counted the tally marks. What happens if that number changes before you wake up? The sun rises, but the dread lingers. You survive the night, but the mystery only deepens. With no one to turn to, you launch a digital investigation. You search your apartment's address, nothing but bland listings and city records. No headlines, no crimes, just normalcy. But you can't ignore the number 62, the stains, the smell. You dig deeper, scouring old forums and archives. Finally, you find a cryptic post. Tenants never stay long. Strange feelings. Whispers about a sad story in a second-floor apartment. Your apartment is on the second floor. It's the first confirmation you're not alone in sensing something is wrong. The forum post becomes your obsession. You hunt for more, finding only mundane complaints until a 5-year-old review warns, don't rent 2B. The landlord won't tell you what happened. Your apartment is 2B. Dread surges. Someone else ran from this place. The reviewer is unreachable, a ghost online. You need answers from the living. You knock on your neighbor's door. An elderly woman answers, her eyes flickering with something like fear. She says people in 2B never stay long. A woman once lived there, a recluse. Vanished one night, an ambulance came, and the apartment sat empty. No one knows the full story. The warning is clear. 2B is not a happy place. The neighbor's story unsettles you further. You call the landlord, mentioning the smell and the mattress. He's defensive, irritated, tells you to buy air freshener. You press about the previous tenant. He snaps, calls it gossip. You mention the bed frames, scratches. Silence. Then a forced calm. It's just an old bed. If you don't like it, I'll replace it. He wants the bed gone, he knows. You refuse the offer, realizing he's trying to erase evidence. The landlord's panic is a confession. The truth is buried, but you're getting closer. But the landlord's eagerness to remove the bed confirms your fears. You're living in a place with a buried crime, and he's desperate to hide it. The clues are scattered. A vanished woman, fleeing tenants, a guilty landlord, and the bed with its 62 marks. The stains, red, brown, ghostly, link past and present. Was the woman a victim or something worse? The ambiguity torments you. As dusk falls, you resolve not to run. You must confront the horror directly. Tonight you'll watch the bed. You have to see what happens, no matter the cost. Night falls, thick and suffocating. You set a chair in the bedroom, facing the stripped bed, coffee and flashlight in hand. You prepare for a long vigil. Shadows stretch, silence deepens. Every creak and whisper becomes a threat. You stare at the bed, waiting for it to reveal its secrets. Sleep deprivation blurs reality. You see flickers, shadows, nothing concrete. Doubt creeps in. Maybe it's all in your head. But the tally marks are real. Whatever happens tonight, you're determined to witness the truth. The clock ticks past 3 o'clock. The air grows colder. A primal instinct screams at you to flee, but you stay rooted to your chair, and then you hear it. A faint scratching sound from the bed itself. Scrape, pause, you are wide awake, hearing the sound of a new tally mark being carved. Your hand trembles. The beam from your flashlight dances wildly. The scratching stops. You know that the sound was not an animal or an insect. It was the sound of a calculation being made. You approach the bed. The air feels charged. You have to look. With a surge of adrenaline, you grab the edge of the mattress. It feels impossibly heavy. You heave it upwards, propping it against the headboard. The dark space beneath is revealed. You shine your flashlight onto the wooden slats, illuminating the rows of old carvings. You know this landscape by heart now. Your eyes frantically scan the rows, looking for the last mark. There it is, a new mark. It is fresh, a pale, raw gash. It has been there for mere minutes. It was carved while you sat in the same room. The sound you heard was real. The unseen hand was at work. You stare at the fresh scratch, and terror washes over you. This is an active, ongoing event. You begin to count again. Your voice is a choked whisper. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63. The number has changed. The ledger has been updated. The true count was now 74. 74. The number hangs in the air, an impossible, soul-crushing weight. It's not just one new mark, it's 12. One for every single night you have slept in this bed. The realization hits you like a physical blow, knocking the air from your lungs. The stains on your sheets, the faint red ghosts you kept washing away, suddenly make a horrifying kind of sense. They weren't echoes of the past. They were a byproduct of the present. Each night, as you slept, a new mark was carved, and a new stain was left behind, a faint physical remnant of the supernatural transaction taking place just inches beneath you. The bed is not just a ledger, it's a bridge. It's a conduit between the world of the living and something else. And your presence, your life force, your sleep, it's somehow fueling it. The reclusive woman who lived here before, the one who vanished. Did she flee or did she become the 60-second mark? The thought is so chilling. It feels like a shard of ice in your heart. This isn't just about a haunted piece of furniture anymore. This is about survival. The bed is counting and you have been its unwitting subject. What happens when the counting stops? What is the final number? You stumble backwards, away from the bed, your mind collapsing under the weight of this new reality. The supernatural and the criminal have converged in this single horrific object. Tally marks are both a record of past events and a threat of future ones. The evidence is undeniable now, but it's evidence of something no one would ever believe. How do you report a crime that is still in progress? A crime being committed by an invisible, intangible force that leaves nothing behind but faint stains and scratches on wood. You are trapped in a nightmare that obeys no earthly rules. You finally understand what you have to do. You can't stay. You can't fight it. You can only run, but you can't just leave the bed for the next unsuspecting tenant. You can't let the apathetic landlord simply swap it out, allowing the cycle to continue with a new victim. You look from the bed to the window. The history carved into this frame needs to be destroyed. The bridge needs to be burned. The story of what this bed hides cannot end with you becoming another number. It has to end with the bed itself. You have one last night in this apartment, and you won't be spending it sleeping. There's no more room for doubt. The bed is a predator. The only course of action left is extermination. You cannot sell it or give it away. The cycle of horror must end tonight, and it must end with you. The only way to kill a ghost is to burn its anchor. You have to destroy the bed, and fire seems like the only fitting end. You cannot set a fire inside. You must get the bed out. Working with frantic energy, you begin dismantling the bed frame. You work through the night, the coming dawn, a promise of salvation. With the frame broken down, you carry the pieces out, you pile the timbers into a makeshift funeral pyre. The sun is rising, casting a pale light on your work. The stage is set. This is it. You douse the pile. 74. You will not be 75. With a flick of a match, you toss it onto the pile. The pyre erupts in flame. You watch as the fire turns the history of pain into smoke and ash. The fire burns, consuming the evil within the wood. It is done. The bed and the entity tied to it is gone. You leave with nothing but the clothes on your back, dropping the keys in a mailbox. You have escaped, but the memory of the tally marks is a scar. You find a new, sterile apartment and buy a brand new bed. You are haunted by a question. The story of the woman who vanished. Was she the first victim or the last to escape? You will never know the truth. This story did not end with an arrest. It ended with a fire and a survivor forever looking over the shoulder. The police were never called. What secrets have they absorbed over the years? We sleep in beds where strangers have slept and died, never imagining that they might not be as inanimate as they seem. This story serves as a chilling reminder that every room has a story. Some places are saturated with the pain and fear of those who came before, and that energy can linger, waiting. It waits in the very bed where you lay your head down to sleep at night, a place where you are at your most vulnerable. So the next time you move into a new place, just take a moment, listen to the silence. And if you wake up with a faint, unexplainable red stain on your sheets, ask yourself what it might be. Because it might just be a message, a warning from the past, and you should always check to see what's carved into the frame beneath you. You never know what secrets a bed might be hiding.